Have you ever watched a troupe of really fine jugglers doing a challenging or dangerous routine? There's an incredible power of focus, amazing precision and flow, and there's also a very sweet, almost contagious sense of joy that exudes from their sense of accomplishment. In your daily life and work, you're challenged to perform much the same miracle, juggling many balls and working with others in a way that keeps a variety of things moving efficiently and safely through your world. Internally, there are also many forces and energies to keep in balance. By now, you've discovered that your mind can only be focused when it's in balance. And since everything's constantly changing, your focusing of attention must achieve a dynamic kind of balance if it's to be sustained into the quality of concentration that can really observe things deeply and carefully. In this session, we'll continue our inquiry into the focused mind state by looking at some of the many dimensions of dynamic balance. The techniques that you'll learn on this side will help you to build the flexibility and adaptability of attention, which is so essential to stay in dynamic balance amidst a myriad of changes. If you look at anything that's working well in the world or in your life, you'll discover clues about dynamic balance. Perhaps the best illustration of this principle of dynamic balance is to be found by listening to your heart. Day after day, year after year, millions of sensitive cells working together in a complex rhythm and pulse that keeps things flowing through every moment of your life. 36,000 heartbeats a day, 2,600,000 beats per month, 2,300,000,000 heartbeats in a lifetime. The heart muscle is perhaps the most intelligent workforce in the world. The key to its success in life is learning how to work smarter, not harder. For your heart as well as for your life, the secret is in finding a dynamic flowing balance between phases of working and resting, pulsing and resting, activity and receptivity to be nourished so that it can pulse again and again. It's doing and then pausing just to be, focusing and then flowing, and having the flexibility to adapt along the way. The heart is able to keep going strong and steady without a break because it has this wisdom about how to work wisely in dynamic balance. Other clues about dynamic balance can be found by simply observing the rhythms of inhalation and exhalation. And clues to dynamic balance are to be found in the cycles of the day, the changing phases of the moon, the cyclic seasons, and in every new beginning and ending. There are many dimensions of dynamic balance, and the more you learn to focus, flow, and flex with the power of your attention, the more you'll understand these different dimensions. As a dynamic being in a complex and changing world, the exact dimensions of dynamic balance will constantly change. To the degree that you're mindful and learn to read your own energy, you'll be able to make the subtle adjustments necessary to maintain a sense of balance and control in your life, even as things change and unexpected things come along. You're learning that living in the flow of dynamic balance is like flying an airplane. You spend most of your time making subtle course corrections and surprisingly very little time actually on course. When you understand that this is the way it is, then you start to look at times that you've strayed from balance as opportunities to refine your balancing skills by moving back toward balance. This translates down to when you notice tension, you relax, you listen, and then you talk. You observe, you plan. You start to execute your plan, and you check, and then you act, and observe the results. A classical example of the principle of dynamic balance is revealed in the classical Zen poem. One day, while he's sipping a cup of tea, the master is approached by a disciple. "Master, can you please tell me what your greatest miracle is?" The Zen master smiled and laughed a hearty laugh. "When I'm hungry," he said, "I eat. When tired, I sleep. What great joy this is." It's as simple as that. And like he says, to accomplish this is a great miracle. Thousands of people die and tens of billions of dollars are spent each year because people aren't nourishing themselves when they're hungry and aren't resting when they're tired. If you take this to heart and you learn to stay focused on the simple, basic realities of your daily life, you too can perform miracles.
Optimum concentration is the fruit of a dynamically balanced mind. To get a sense for this, switch on your imagination now and imagine yourself standing at the center of a large teeter-totter. This teeter-totter represents the continuum of energy and arousal. If you're at one end of this continuum, you'd find yourself unbalanced and unable to concentrate because there'd be so much energy moving into and through your system. You'd feel overwhelmed, anxious, tense, and unable to keep up with it. And at the other end of the continuum, you'd find it difficult to concentrate because your energy would be so low and dull that you wouldn't be able to stay awake and keep your attention focused. At the balance point in the middle is the zone of optimum energy and attention. In this zone, you have a sufficient level of energy and arousal to remain intensely alert and focused, and this is balanced by just the right degree of relaxation to keep your mental and physical energy flowing effortlessly and efficiently. So now that you have the basic image, let's add a couple of extra dimensions to it to give you a better feeling for what dynamic balance really is. First, you can imagine that this teeter-totter is floating on an ocean of different forces, and that even when you're in balance, the tides of change will challenge you to continually adjust your stance. And second, as you walk on this teeter-totter, also imagine that you carry a balancing pole that represents having a firm grasp of the mental qualities of mindfulness and vigilance. The mental quality of mindfulness is the quality of mind that continuously monitors what your level of energy and quality of concentration is and where you are on the continuum. And the quality of mindfulness is complemented by the quality of mental vigilance, which is the watchful quality of mind that watches carefully for the arising of imbalance, and which keeps you always moving toward that place on the continuum where the power of your concentration is optimized. If you're interested in strengthening your concentration, you'll find that there are two general strategies that you'll need to learn and apply. If you tend to spend more time on the hyper-aroused end of the continuum, you'll find that your challenge is to learn how to relax and chill out a bit. And if by temperament, biology, or circumstance you tend to be on the lethargic, low-energy end of the continuum, you'll benefit from learning and practicing those strategies that focus and boost the level of your energy. Strategically, if you find that your energy is running too high and you're too hyper or excited, then the best tactic for optimizing your concentration will be to relax and cool your jets for a while. This will allow you to slide on down the energy arousal continuum in the direction of the zone. Relaxing a bit will help your energy to flow more evenly and will balance your intensity with enough stability to allow a vivid clarity of mind to emerge and be sustained. On the other hand, if you find that you're at the other end of the continuum and are simply too low energy to stay focused and alert, some remedies for boosting your energy range from getting some exercise or taking a cold shower to thinking about something or someone that you find inspiring. Other mental strategies would include visualizing your mind being filled with light or synchronizing your breathing with a simple movement such as raising and lowering your arms or opening and closing your hands as you inhale and exhale. As you move more toward the center of the continuum, you can let go of the movements and simply synchronize your concentration with the subtler movements of the rising and falling of your abdomen as you breathe in and breathe out. We'll speak more about this on Side 10, a guide to single-pointed concentration. Now let's make a leap forward in understanding this model. The real balancing act that you're looking for in achieving the focused mind state is to maintain the high energy while simultaneously being very deeply alert and not lose your deep relaxation when you boost your energy. The goal is not merely one of finding the middle zone, but of learning to stretch yourself to have a foot as far out on each end of the continuum as you can while still staying balanced. A classic example of this is the calm and poise of a great dancer or a martial artist who, even under extreme pressure and demand, is able to move with lightning speed but still remains relaxed and at ease, using his or her energy with maximum efficiency. You meet people like this on the battlefield of business now and then, who even in the midst of intense pressure are still at ease, focused, sensitive, humorous, and in the flow.
Here are 2 additional strategies for achieving the dynamic balance necessary for working and playing in the zone of optimal concentration. If you find that you're just so full of energy that it's impossible to relax, then one of the best strategies is to do something physical that will intensify your energy and actually increase your level of arousal. This is a common strategy for those of us who find that the best way to get back in balance is go for a run or to work out at lunchtime or at the end of the day. Increasing your arousal level through vigorous, sustained exercise will set the stage for the inevitable energy rebound that will send you sailing smoothly down the continuum in the direction of the zone. This deep, sweet state of relaxation and afterglow that naturally follows an increase in arousal is the perfect platform for tasting how deep and sweet and effortless your concentration can be. One word of warning, however: beware of overshooting the zone and simply spacing out or falling asleep at the other end of the continuum. A second important strategy is that if you find that you're too exhausted to stay focused, then explore ideas for managing your life to allow you to sleep longer and deeper. The energy that you waste trying to stay awake and alert is far more than the energy it would take to get the rest you need. Remember, your body is built to maintain balance, and when the system is pushed out of balance too far in one direction, the strain on the system will inevitably lead to an equal and opposite adjustment. When you're tired, it's impossible to do high-quality work. The strain you put on the system by pushing it with your will or revving up temporarily with sugar or caffeine is simply unwise and inefficient. This just pushes your system farther out of balance and sets up the body to make an even stronger swing towards balance by shutting you down. Working twice as long at only 10% of your capacity is clearly unwise when, if you took the time to rest and recharge yourself, you could get 5 times more done in the same amount of time. It makes better sense to learn to manage your life so you can manage your energy to get more done more quickly and with less energy. Why work harder when you can work smarter and not only get more done, but live longer, healthier, and happier as a result? Also, if you're in a position of managing other people at work, please keep in mind that these principles can help you to expand your personal energy management knowledge to help others learn to manage their own energy more efficiently. Your inspiring example, understanding, and support can empower and support them in managing their own energy more efficiently and working smarter as a result. So now that you understand the energy arousal continuum, let's look at some further dimensions of dynamic balance.
The dynamic balance of 2 primary qualities of mind are essential for concentration. These are clarity of mind and stability of attention. To build clarity, you're challenged to reduce the dullness, fogginess, and confusion in the mind. To build the stability of your attention, you're challenged to reduce the agitation and turbulence of your mind. Let's take a short while now to explore some strategies you can use to balance the focus of your attention in these 2 ways. Let's begin by looking at the first case scenario, when you feel that your mental clarity is fading. The very first step is simply to bring conscious awareness as soon as possible to the fact that the force of your clarity is getting slack. Then, calling in the force of your intention, the mover, redirect and move your attention and awareness back in the right direction. Applying your intention is like saying, "Come back," to the sleepily wandering mind. It signals you to tighten up on the grip of your mental reins. Gently but firmly, reaffirm your intention to be concentrating right now. Next, check your posture and make the necessary adjustments to sit or stand straighter. Have you slumped down into a laid-back or hunched-over droopy position? Can you find another way of sitting or standing that would arouse a greater sense of alertness or wakefulness? Perhaps you've been trying to concentrate for too long at a time without a break. You could be overtiring the mind. You may find that shorter and more frequent periods of intense concentration, alternated with brief periods of mindful relaxation, may work better for you and produce better quality results. Check and adjust the physical conditions in your environment. Is it stuffy? Maybe you need to open a window and get some fresh air and negative ions. Are you wearing clothes that are too warm or too heavy? Perhaps taking off your sweater or wearing lighter weight clothing will increase your wakefulness. How about your diet? Reducing the amount of fat in your diet and eating a lighter diet in general will also aid in restoring mental clarity and reduce that sleepy, sluggish feeling. If you feel like your attention needs a boost to its reserves of energy and clarity, see what you can do to arouse a greater sense of inspiration and cheer in the mind. Take some time to reflect on things that cheer up, expand, broaden, and give space to your mental energy. Uplift your mind and make it happy by focusing on positive themes and inspiring examples, such as objects of beauty, nature, love, or kindness. When you find your mind is becoming dull, you can intensify the quality of your focusing and alertness by visualizing light. Imagine filling the body and mind with light. Imagine the mind to be of the nature of light. If you're really having problems concentrating because you're feeling too dull and foggy, try looking for a while at anything that's bright, but not so bright as to hurt your eyes. Look at lights, at stars. Make sure your room is bright. You can also practice looking into the sky, thinking and imagining that your awareness is shooting up and off into the sky. This will also raise the intensity of your mental energy. And finally, if all else fails, go splash some cold water in your face or take a shower. You may find that simply taking a shower can refresh and reinvigorate your mind and energy field. Or perhaps just take a break and go outside, if possible, for a brisk walk in the fresh air, breathing deeply to reoxygenate your brain cells.
Now you're ready to have a look at some strategies that you can call upon for those breaks in concentration that come from the second category, when the problem is not so much having a lack of clarity, but rather when the mind is pulled outward to other thoughts or objects in your environment. What can you do to tame the wild horse of excitement, agitation, and distraction, and to bring the mind back home? The following exercises are effective remedies that help restore stability and calm to a restless, wandering mind. When you notice that it's becoming difficult to concentrate because your mind is in an overly excited state, and like a roller coaster or a ship at sea during a storm, your thoughts are all over the place, seemingly out of control or flighty, begin by imagining yourself galloping away, out of control on a wild horse of your mind. And now take control by reaching out. Yes, actually reaching out and pulling in the reins and saying, "Whoa." Next, take control of your mind by stepping out of the whirlwind or stormy seas of your thoughts. Hold the firm resolve and renewed intention to redirect the scattered energy and to focus your attention and thought waves back on course in the right direction, focused on what you choose. Sometimes you can have trouble concentrating when there's too much enthusiasm or excitement bubbling in the mind, even over a good thing. If this is the case, it can be helpful to tame your overexcitement somewhat by contemplating a sobering or a grounding theme, such as the hardships or sufferings that are being endured in the world, or how everything in the world around us, including ourselves, are impermanent and ever-changing events. Remembering that nothing in life is static and that everything is always in the process of constant change is one of the best ways to subdue excitement and attachment and get you focused on what's really important to give your attention to. Another key to improving concentration is to deliberately slow down your movements. For example, when you're walking or eating or reaching for something, simply shift into slow motion and direct your attention to carefully examine all of the little steps that make up that activity. As you consciously slow down your movements, intentionally intensify the focus of your concentration. Then zoom in and investigate. How exactly do you walk or move? What exactly is the process of lifting and moving and stepping? Or what is this process of chewing, tasting, and swallowing? Tune in and see what's really happening. The more slowly and intentionally you move your body, the more it will aid in the cultivation of stability, and stability is essential for good concentration. Another way to reduce distraction and improve concentration is, again, to sit straight in an upright posture when reading or studying or anything else. By keeping your spine straight, energy flows more smoothly through your body and your chest cavity is more open, allowing for a greater amount of oxygen to fill your lungs and circulate to your brain. When you notice that being in an overly excited state is hampering your ability to focus and concentrate, you can use the energy of your mind to redirect the power of your attention and focus particularly on grounding and lowering your energy. Shift the focus of your awareness to center in the navel region of your body instead of in the upper part of your body and head. Try this when you're walking and talking, as well as just standing and sitting. When walking, bring your awareness into your feet and their contact with the ground as well. If you notice that your mind is really agitated and excited, you might find that wearing warmer clothes, eating a heavier diet, and dimming the lights in your room are some physical adjustments that you can make to bring your energy down to a more equanimous state. Too much sugar or alcohol in your diet will also have a harmful effect on your ability to stay focused. So monitor your intake of these substances and reduce or eliminate them as needed. If you do this, you'll quickly notice the difference. Learn to become sensitive to the general conditions of your mind before excitement has a chance to take hold and sweep your ability to concentrate away. Preventive medicine is the best for chronic scatteringitis. If you don't tumble off into distraction, the mind will remain concentrated. So develop the habit of watching the mind. This will enable you to identify the whispers of scattering when they begin and before they turn into screams. So, there are at least a case of strategies that you can use to help you stay focused when these unwanted mental guests of mental dullness and agitation have invaded your mind. The most important point is to learn to watch your mind and to apply an appropriate antidote if the need arises. And remember, if you stay mindful of your state of mind, you'll be more likely to prevent the intrusion of distraction and dullness in the first place. Another dimension of dynamic balance is the weaving together of above and below, or heaven and earth. As one of our Native American teachers has said, your ability to reach to the heavens is dependent on how deep your roots are in the earth. One especially powerful method of staying present in your power throughout the day is to balance the energies of heaven and earth by experiencing yourself as a conduit for these energies of earth and heaven. Since the electrical conductance and potentials at your feet and at your head have inverse properties, there's actually a basis in the electrodynamics of your body to support this image. Variations of this method have been used in many cultures around the world for thousands of years. This method has 3 steps that lead to dynamic balance. First, as you sit or stand quietly, imagine or sense a spiral of energy rising from the earth up through you and then opening into the sky. Just be with this image or this sense for a few moments. Allow it to emerge as naturally as possible into your awareness. Breathing in and drawing the energies of the earth up and into you. Exhaling and feeling this flow of energy rising up through your body and opening upwards into the sky. Drawing the energy of the earth up and into yourself, and then offering upwards, opening into the sky. As you breathe and continue this image, can you imagine that this rising vortex of energy spirals through you with a deep and powerful cleansing action? It's as though this dust-busting vortex dissolves any blockages to the free flow of energy in your body and mind, and leaves you feeling clean and clear as though your energy and vibration has been bumped up a notch, leaving you clear-minded, vitalized, and keenly alert. Keep in mind that if this kind of visualization exercise is difficult for you, just relax and give it your best shot. It's important to remember that, as with most of the exercises you're learning in this series, you'll find that the more effortlessly you hold the image and allow this to happen, the more vividly you'll be able to actually experience the reality of the image. So now, phase 2. As you breathe now, simply allow the flow of earth energy to continue to rise and flow in the background. Now, focus your attention so that as you inhale, you imagine drawing a vortex of energy or light down into you from the heavens above. Use all of the special effects you can to make this visualization as vivid and as deeply felt as possible. Can you now imagine that as you fill yourself with the energy of the heavens above, that as you exhale, it spirals down and through you and into the earth? Drawing in the heavens, bringing that energy and light down through you into the earth like a wave of blessings for the world. Let this shower of light and energy wash through you, cleansing and clearing your body and mind of any energies that get in the way of the flow. Feel your body and mind sparkling clean and clear in this balancing flow. Let the descending waves smooth, balance, and ground your energy and deepen your sense of stability and rootedness in the earth. And now as you breathe, simply rest in the flow of awareness of both these spirals moving and flowing through you at the same time. Allow this vitalizing, harmonizing, healing flow of energy to totally dissolve any remaining tensions and concerns that you don't need. Imagine that as you rest easily in this flow, that any energy that's blocked or frozen within you simply dissolves and melts into this flow. Let any sense of density or solidity in your whole mind and body simply dissolve and find its dynamic balance as a higher order of stability and strength that is pure, flowing energy and light. Though at first you may just get the idea of what this image suggests, with practice, the mental image and idea will become a concrete and powerful experience for you. Be patient. Don't expect fireworks or anything special. Just let your mind move like a magnet over a jumbled pile of iron filings, and know that as your mind moves, that all the energies and particles within you begin to align and allow the energy that's already here within you to move and flow more smoothly. As with many of the methods that you're learning, its actual form is very simple, but the power and insight that can be generated through practice over time can really be quite profound. Throughout the day, when you're sitting at your desk, or riding on the bus, or in your car, activate your awareness of these spirals of energy and light flooding through you. Awaken and rejoice in your groundedness and connectedness to the strength and steadiness and nurturing nature of the earth, and to the open, light, majesty, and vast potentials of the heavens. Realize that you're never separated from these realities, even for an instant. It's said that practicing in this way will quietly, powerfully, and invisibly equip you with a way of moving through the world that leaves a trail of light, good vibes, and blessings wherever you go.
So as you see, there are many dimensions to dynamic balance. Your ability to focus and maintain your concentration will be dependent on your ability to live and flow in dynamic balance. On this side, we introduced you to the dynamic balance of mental clarity and mental stability, and of working and resting states that ensure sustained high performance. You've also learned how to build more of a dynamic balance of inner focus and outer focused attention. And finally, you've learned some useful tools and principles for living in the dynamic flow and balance of the rising and descending energies of heaven and earth. As you practice these methods, you'll discover many other qualities of life that are continually challenging you to be focused and to flow in dynamic balance. So let's close this tape now with 3 simple guidelines for living and working more in the flow of dynamic balance. 1. Throughout the day, be more mindful of your current state of mind, body, and performance. 2. Pause frequently to focus and ask yourself, what would a step toward greater dynamic balance be for me right now? And 3. Whenever possible, take those small steps towards living more in balance. If you practice these 3 simple steps and work with the methods you've learned on this tape, you'll see your energy and mental clarity grow and flow. Many of these methods are like learning dance steps, or a piece of music, or a sentence in a foreign language, or a new computer system. Once you've learned these things, you're equipped with new strengths and new skills, and you're able to do things that previously were impossible for you. Your power has grown, and you've discovered the dynamic balance necessary for living and working in the focused mind state. As a child, I used to dream about making a device that would collect all the wasted moments in people's lives and save them to be used more productively later. As I began to study and practice the inner arts of developing the power and strength of the mind-body, it dawned on me that this aspiration was in part being fulfilled. Through bringing greater awareness to the ordinary activities of daily life that you generally regard as wasted time, it's possible to reclaim virtually years of your life that would otherwise have been wasted in mindless distraction. If you're an average American adult, your attention is focused specifically on work-related tasks for only about 30 hours per week, and you spend approximately 10 hours per week doing things irrelevant to your job while you're at your workplace, such as talking with your coworkers and daydreaming. You spend nearly as much time, approximately 20 hours each week, with your attention turned toward leisure activities, spending about 7 hours watching television, 3 hours reading, 2 hours in activities like working out or playing music, and about 7 hours in social activities with family and friends or going to parties or entertainment. The remaining 50 or 60 hours of your week are invested in basic maintenance activities like commuting, eating, cooking, washing, shopping, puttering around, or in unstructured free time activities like just listening to music. If you learn to bring greater mindfulness to even a fraction of these activities, you can add years of quality experience to your life and build the power of your mind at the same time. On this side, we'll introduce you to a variety of ideas and practical skills for being more mindful in your daily life and work. Mindfulness, more than any other quality of mind, is the most powerful tool for making changes in your life. Since you can only change what you're mindful of, mindfulness lays the foundation for living your life more in control and on purpose. Mindfulness shows you not only what's here before you, but also what your options are. With a clearer, more objective and appreciative view of your current reality, you'll be better able to recognize and evaluate your options for moving forward. Since control over your life follows awareness, your greatest power, creativity, and effectiveness will be harnessed only when you're intentionally and consciously engaged in what you're doing. And remember, being mindfully focused is actually a more energy-efficient and optimal state of living and working. The little bit of energy that you invest in staying mindful and alert is far less than all the energy you burn up in the tension and distraction of ordinary mindless living. The practice of mindfulness involves regarding each moment, each event and experience freshly, as though it were occurring for the first time. This freshness and spontaneity of perception creates more suppleness in your perception, de-habituating you from getting stuck in old patterns of thinking and perception. The poet William Blake captured the essence of this quality of mind in his well-known poem, Auguries of Innocence. To see the world in a grain of sand and beauty in a wildflower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. Mindfulness is a basic, simple, and direct acknowledgement of your existence in the present moment. To be mindful is to simply smile to yourself and to know, I'm listening to this tape. I'm alive. I'm here. I'm awake. Mindfulness grounds you in the reality of the moment. When you're happy, you know that you're happy. When you're sad, you know that you're sad. When you're experiencing pleasure or pain, you're aware of what's true for you. The quality of mindful attention allows you to be in touch with what's real for you right here and right now. If you aren't mindful, you won't know what's real for you, and you'll be unable to change or choose another option. Since mindfulness is basic to your life and is already part of the stream of your consciousness, the practice of developing a deeper and more continuous presence of mindfulness is simply learning to participate more wholly and fully in your life. Being mindful is not some strange, abstract, or imaginary exercise. It's an affirmative action of bringing your life more into focus and of discovering what's real for you.
A good place to begin is exactly where you are, in any given moment. So right now, begin to bring your mind and thus your world into focus. Begin by bringing your mind home from wherever it may have been straying. Bringing the mind home, you bring your mind present and peaceful by simply being mindful of your current reality. Outwardly, be aware of your surroundings, what you see and hear in the world around you. Then, drawing your attention inward, first tune in to what's most real and true for you as a physical being right now. Mindfully sense your position and posture. Quietly observe the movement and flowing of your breath. Then direct your mindful attention to the flow of sensations and vibrations moving within and through your body. Next, open the focus of your attention to mindfully observe the flow of your thoughts, your internal conversations, and the emotional feelings that color this moment of your life. Simply, effortlessly, easily bring your mind home to focus and rest within yourself, and simply rest here in the calm, clarity, and peace of mind that's always here, mindfully observing the flow of experiences. Having brought your attention back to yourself as home base, now you can open and expand your attention to reach back out into your world again. As you do this, maintain your awareness of your thoughts, feelings, breath, and body, mindfully present, focused, and flowing from moment to moment. In essence, mindfulness is the practice of making things real. What does this mean? For example, pause for a few moments and bring your complete attention to your hands again. Look at them and feel them as though you've just discovered these incredible things and as though you've never known hands before. See and feel how incredibly responsive they are to your mind. See how precisely and gracefully they move. Sense how many things they do for you. What a miracle. A next step could be to pick up a piece of fruit like an apple or a tangerine. Hold it and look at it as though for the first time you're encountering it. Feel its texture and roundness. Smell it. See its color and shape. Peel it open and taste its tart sweetness. Let it come alive for you and let it be real for you. Experience how your vivid reality of your experience of the orange is much more than all your thoughts about the orange. A further extension of this approach to the practice of mindfulness is to give your wholehearted attention to someone and allow them to become real for you. While you're meeting with a client, or having supper with a friend or a loved one, or playing with your child, let yourself see them with fresh eyes. Let them become real for you. Notice the shape and form of their face and body. Observe how they move. Listen to the rhythms and the pattern of their voice. Let your eyes be like periscopes for your heart and see them with appreciation and clarity. As you're making them real, if your memories or thoughts about them come to mind, see those old stories about them as history. Stay focused on discovering the living reality of this person before you.
When in doubt with how to focus your mind, simply return to the mindfulness of your breathing. As you inhale, know that you're breathing in. As you exhale, know that you're breathing out. As you watch the breath, simply smile to yourself and mindfully experience the flow of sensations that are your experience of breathing. Mindful breathing accomplishes one of the greatest miracles in your life. It gets your mind and body into sync with each other and into focus so that your mind and body can work together with full awareness and control. Since your mental functioning and quality of consciousness is so closely related to the way that you're breathing, practicing mindful breathing can have a focusing, calming, and vitalizing effect for your whole mind and body. Whenever you notice that you've gotten scattered, just return to focus your attention on the mindfulness of breathing. I'm reminded of the story of how one of our clients used mindfulness of breathing to handle a breakdown in communications with her customer. Beth was part of a team that provided technical support design and troubleshooting to other departments in her large insurance company. Keeping their information systems online and running efficiently was a high priority because if one of their systems went down, it could cost millions of dollars a day. One day there was some breakdown that occurred, and a customer called and was very upset and abusive. Beth practiced what she'd learned with us to stay focused under pressure and had enough presence of mind to say, "Look, let's handle this in person. Can you come over to my office and let's talk about this?" Her client agreed and came right over. As they began, Beth said, "Look, I know that you're really upset and I'd really like to see us figure this design issue out. But let's take a minute to cool our jets first and get focused so that we can think straight, okay?" The client had to admit that this was a good idea. "Look, I'll show you how I do this," Beth said. "It's real simple. Let's just be quiet for a couple of minutes and breathe together. Yeah, just let your mind get focused with the breath, breathing in with full awareness and breathing out with full awareness. That's it." After a couple of minutes, Beth said, "Wow, that really helped. My mind's a lot clearer now, and I think I may have a solution to your problem." Her customer agreed that he was more focused and able to concentrate as well, and within a very short time they arrived at a very efficient solution to a complex problem. Later that afternoon, the customer called Beth back and thanked her for having had the presence of mind and for having taken the time to get focused and centered. "By the way," the customer said, "thanks for that breathing technique. It's really simple, but it sure works to get focused." The next day, Beth learned that this customer had also left a voice message for her manager and to the vice president of the whole department, telling them what good service he'd received from her. So when in doubt, come back to the breath, mindfully focusing and flowing back into control with awareness. The breath is always here and ready to remind you to renew your mindfulness throughout the day.
The second foundation for mindfulness is to be aware of your body. Right now, as you sit there, become aware of your posture. Notice what your hands are touching and feel the sensations of your bottom touching the seat. Smile to yourself as you come out of the clouds of your thoughts and land with full awareness right here in your body. Since control follows awareness, being more mindful of your body is really one of the most powerful tools for mastering stress. Because if you're mindful of your body more often, you'll recognize the accumulations of tension and be better able to let them go more easily and swiftly. And as a result, you'll be less likely to develop stress-related illnesses. Mindfulness of your breathing and of your body can be combined in a number of ways. For example, as you practice mindful breathing, you'll notice that at the top of the inhalation there's a pause, And at the end of the exhalation, there's another pause. So as you breathe, you feel the stream of sensations as the breath flows into and out of your nostrils, or you feel the rising and the falling of your chest as you breathe. And at the top of the inhalation, in that pause, you tune into a touch point, and you notice your bottom touching the chair, or you tune into the sensations of your hands touching, or you feel your lips touching, and you ride the wave of sensations of the outflowing breath, and at the bottom of the exhalation, you again tune into a moment of mindfulness of your body. This is a very simple, powerful, and direct method for weaving the focused mind state into your daily life and work. Another way to strengthen your mindfulness of your body is to do a check-in on your body by sweeping your awareness through your body and tuning into your body part by part. One way to do this is to begin at the top of your head, and as you breathe, you allow your inhalations to focus your attention in this region, and you're simply mindful and aware of any sensations or vibrations that you experience in this region. Then you allow your mindful attention to travel down to notice any sensations or vibrations in the back of your head, on either side of your head, or around your face. Whatever you notice, you're simply aware of that experience. And now you allow your mindfulness to come down into your neck and throat, and as you breathe, your mindfulness travels down into your neck and shoulders. Then allow your mindfulness to scan down and through your right arm, traveling from the shoulder to the fingertips, and then down through your left arm to the fingertips. And then being mindful of your chest and rib cage, and then your abdomen and back, and then gradually sweeping this wave of mindfulness down into and through your hips and buttocks and genitals, and then sweeping it down through your legs, one leg at a time, or down through both together, being mindful of your thighs, and then of your knees, then mindful of your ankles and feet, and finally finding your toes. And then when you reach your toes, you smile and you breathe and you focus your attention once again at the top of your head. And again, you allow this wave of awareness to move and flow and scan down through your body, lighting up each part of your body with awareness. And as you sweep your awareness through your body, you welcome whatever comes to your attention. If what you encounter is pleasurable or painful, welcome whatever it is into your awareness and let those feelings flow. Let your mindfulness pass through your body like a warm wave passing through an ice field, and allow any places of holding or tightness to begin to release and flow a bit more. Let your mindfulness sweep through your body like a magnet passing over a pile of jumbled iron filings, and with each pass through the body, feel your energies beginning to align and flow more smoothly. Turn the tape off now and take a few minutes to experience the two exercises we've just described. Experience the dynamic of mindfulness through your breathing and bodily sensations.
Mindfulness can be directed to anything you're aware of throughout the day. For instance, at any moment throughout the day, you can practice mindfulness of seeing. Just look out through those incredible eyes of yours and see what's here before you. Notice the shapes and forms. See the colors in all their many hues and all the textures. Notice what's bright and what's dull, what's smooth and what's rough, what's moving and what's still. Just see clearly what is and enjoy, appreciate the miracle of your seeing. If any thoughts come to mind about what you're seeing, just be mindful of those thoughts. The same model can be used with listening and hearing. In many villages in Southeast Asia from ancient times even till today, you can find the tradition of the bell of mindfulness. We've introduced this custom into many of the corporate workplaces that we're called in to consult for, and it's been a real hit. Here's how the bell of mindfulness practice works. Traditionally, there was at least one person in each village who who had the special function of waking people up throughout the day by ringing a large central bell. The sound of the bell punctuating the day was used to call the community to mindfulness. Whenever people would hear the bell, no matter what they were in the middle of doing or saying, they'd stop and pause for a few moments. Bringing their mind back home, they'd come back to their breath and take a few conscious breaths before continuing on with what they were in the midst of. There's a mindfulness poem that accompanies this practice of conscious listening. It goes like this. Listen, listen. This wonderful sound brings me back to my true self. The sound of the bell reminds you to return to your breathing in the present moment. When you hear it, you stop talking and thinking and just focus on your breathing with awareness for about 3 breaths and enjoy your breathing. It's like pressing the clear button on your mental calculator and clearing the screen. With the help of the bell, your mind is collected and brought back to the present moment. In many of the offices where we've introduced this practice, the bell of mindfulness is often a small chime that gets circulated among the different cubicles and workstations and rung throughout the day, calling the community of coworkers to focus and connect together in a refreshing pause of mindfulness. As a variation on this same theme, you might enjoy experimenting with listening to ordinary sounds in a fresh and mindful way. Just listen and give your complete, wholehearted attention to listening afresh to a bird song, a piece of music, to the flow of traffic sounds, or to the sounds around you in the office. Once again, just be here now in a receptive and attentive state and hold the mind before thought. And for a short, predetermined period of time, simply listen and enjoy your listening without shifting into active thinking or elaborating on what you hear. Let's do this now for a few minutes. So, how was the experience? Throughout the day, if you want a simple and effective method to focus your mind, just shift into a receptive listening mode. Simply pause for a few minutes and be mindful of the sounds around you. If you pause for a few minutes of mindful listening and breathing throughout the day, you'll be amazed at how clear and focused your mind becomes. And like many of the other methods you're learning here, you can practice listening anytime and in any place.
So, having built a foundation of mindfulness with your breath, your perception, and your body, the next foundation of mindfulness is to become mindful of your mental functions. Let's begin with mindfulness of thinking. Learn to mindfully watch the changing images and listen to the endless flow of inner voices without needing to get involved in them. If you're like most people, you've spent your life identifying with these voices and struggling with them. Your real power lies in remembering that you're not the chatter that you hear in your head. You're the hearer of all these many voices. This is an important point to emphasize. You're not at the mercy of your thoughts, because you are more than your thoughts. You are the thinker of the thoughts. With mindfulness and a compassionate, patient smile, you can choose which voices to follow and which ones to merely let pass you by. Listening carefully and with a patient, compassionate smile will protect you from taking any of these voices too seriously, trying too hard, or being too judgmental as you learn to sit quietly by the stream of your mind. First, let's do a couple of experiments to increase your mindfulness of thoughts. Begin by sitting quietly, focusing your attention with a few moments of mindful breathing. Build the strength and continuity of your attention by breathing your mindful awareness into this moment and letting it continue as an unbroken stream of awareness into the next moment. Each moment and each breath staying fully focused and mindfully present. Yes. And now, rest your hands on your knees, right hand on your right knee, and left hand on your left knee. And as you breathe now, draw your attention to mindfully focus on the stream of your thoughts. Staying mindful of each moment, whenever you notice a thought that's a memory of the past, tap gently with your left hand, indicating to yourself that you're aware of a special kind of thought called a memory. And whenever you notice that you're having a thought that's a fantasy of the future, then tap your right knee. And whenever your attention is totally focused here and now in the present moment, just smile to yourself and enjoy the ride. As thoughts arise, just view them as clouds floating through the sky of your mind, or as different taxi cabs racing here and there in your mind. Remember not to hitch a ride on any of these, and avoid the tendency to get involved with them. Just let the thoughts come and go. Stay mindfully focused and keep tapping your left knee for thoughts of the past and your right knee for thoughts of the future. Then, after a few minutes, reflect to yourself, has your attention been drawn more to memories of the past or to fantasies or plans for the future? Objectively and without criticism, simply notice whether your attention is drawn more to thoughts of the past or of the future. As your powers of mindfulness grow, you'll learn more and more about how your mind works. Understanding more and more about the patterns of your thinking and attention, you'll come to a clearer recognition of the patterns of mind that you'd like to strengthen, as well as the patterns of mind that you'd like to reduce. Good. Let's do one more brief experiment with mindfulness of thinking. As you watch the flow of your thoughts passing through your mind now, be mindful of 3 kinds of thoughts. 1. Judging thoughts. The second, appreciative thoughts. And thirdly, neutral thoughts. When you notice judging thoughts or disliking thoughts, mark it by tapping your left knee. And when you notice experiences that trigger appreciative thoughts or acceptance, tap with your right hand. When you're neither judging or accepting, but merely neutral and present, Then just sit quietly and mindfully ride the waves of the breath. Once again, avoid the tendency to dive in and get involved with the contents of your thoughts, but simply notice and be mindful that these tendencies are activated in your thinking process. Ultimately, you'll learn to be more mindful of what you're thinking, and by being more mindful of what you're thinking, you'll be able to direct your thinking as you wish. Remember, control follows awareness. Since a mental intention precedes every physical action, you'll find that becoming more mindful of your intentions will strengthen your mindfulness in action. This is a very powerful way to learn more about how your mind works. For example, when I'm driving, I'll be watching for my intention to change lanes, or to turn left or right, or speed up or slow down. When you're sitting somewhere, you may have an idea come to mind to go get an object from the other room. When this happens, instead of instantly jumping up on automatic pilot, immediately recognize the thoughts and images that come to mind and sense the impulse to get up and go. You feel this intention to act, moving your body to stand and mindfully walk into the next room. And in a relaxed and fully present way, you then mindfully stand up and walk into the other room. You pick up the object and return with complete mindfulness. And throughout this entire sequence of inner and outer movement, the continuity of your attention has remained unbroken and undistracted.
Once you've developed the power of mindfulness, you can use it in two ways. You can focus your mindful attention on a single activity or experience, or you can generalize your mindfulness to include and embrace every experience that comes to you. For example, you may be mindful of your breath, and then the phone rings. First, you're mindful of the sound and of the jolt of surprise as it ripples through your body. Then you're mindful of reaching out, mindful of touching and lifting the phone, and mindful of it touching your ear. Mindfully you listen, and mindfully you talk, and you're also mindful of the crimp in your neck as you talk. After you hang up the phone, you may be mindful of your thoughts about the conversation, and mindful of how it's impacted you emotionally and how it sits with you in your body. At another time during your day, you might go out for a mindful walk or jog. You may start with a mindful awareness of your breath and your pace. Then you may notice the coolness of the breeze on your sweating forehead, and notice that your attention is drawn to the color of a passing car or to watching an attractive jogger running nearby. This may trigger a series of internal thoughts and images, emotions and memories, and all of this is integrated into your mindful, global awareness. You might be saying, isn't all of this mindful attention going to overwhelm me? Like trying to input too much information into a computer? Nothing could be further from the truth. Mindfulness doesn't mean that you're expending any more thought energy. You're just expending it much more efficiently. Whereas before your mind was filled with scattered thoughts of the past and future and an unconscious awareness of the present, now you're mindfully, consciously aware of each present moment experience and clearing your mind of the past and future. Ask yourself a simple question. Which state of mind will lead to greater self-control and happiness? The answer is self-evident. So you see, mindfulness is simply a quality of attention and appreciation that can help you to bring more and more of your life into your conscious awareness and creative control. You've now completed this side's tour of mindfulness in daily life. You've seen how dynamic concentration can be practiced in action, and you've come to understand the basic principle of how control follows awareness. In the process, you've learned how to build a home base for yourself in the mindfulness of your breathing, and you've also learned how to bring more awareness to tracking the flow of changes in the world within you and around you. As a result, you now have new skills for bringing mindfulness into action so that you can work with greater carefulness and efficiency and recognize creative opportunities and possibilities as they arise. Mindfulness is one of the most important components of the focused mind state. And now that you've experienced it firsthand, you're ready to take the next step onto side 9 and explore new ways that you can apply this power of focused awareness to unlock the secrets of breakthrough thinking.